blah blah
Hare
blah.
Krishna,
Shri
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare Ram
Hare
blah
Ram,
blah blah blah. Shri Krishna 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 Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today is Tuesday. It is 19th of March. It is Govinda Masa, Falguna Masa, and Sukla Paksham and Dasimi Tithi. So we are coming nearer to Ekadashi. So coming tomorrow is Ekadashi, Amalaki Ekadashi, but due to the Dwadasi, it is the Mahadwadasi is coming on Thursday. So we will be fasting on Thursday, not on Wednesday. So that is mentioned in the calendar. So apart from that, there are no Vaishnava events today. So we shall quickly move into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj about complete detachment from the material world and attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yesterday he was mentioning one has to, after rejecting, one should not accumulate so many of material opulences. When the Lord is giving all the necessities to the human beings, he should not endeavor with so much of hard labor. So one has to एवं स्वचित्ते स्वत एव सिद्ध आत्मा प्रियार्थो भगवान अनंतः. The Lord with his omnipotency, he is in all living in heart of all the living entities. Swachitte swata eva siddhah. Atma priyardho bhagavan anantah. So for that Lord, one has to surrender himself. Tam niruto nitardho bhajeta samsara hetu uparmasha yatra. So to transcend from these material things, so to cut the knots of the material world, samsara hetu uparamasya yatra. So relief from all samsara hetu, all the reasons and causes for the samsara. So for that purpose, he has to surrender himself to the Supreme Lord, who is situated in the heart of all the living entities. So further, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, uh, so even though a person he is seeing outside everything is going on, like his forefathers they have died and so many people are died with birth, old age, disease and death, but still he is endeavoring himself in accumulating the wealth with so much of hard labor without taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. Who else could be doing like that, even though he is seeing all the bad things and whichever he is accumulating, that is giving more pain to him, but still he doesn't leave that. He doesn't surrender himself to the Supreme Lord, and unless he is an animal, unless he is an animal, so he cannot surrender unto the Supreme Lord. Likewise, who else cannot be surrendered? So likewise, Sukadeva Goswami is giving, uh, just criticizing all the people who are accumulating the money without surrendering themselves to the Lord. So we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, second chapter, verse number 7. Kastam त्वनादृत्य परानुचिन्तां कृते पशून् असतीं नाम कुर्यात् पश्चञ्जनं पतितं वैतरण्यां स्वकर्मजान् परितापाञ्जुषाणाम्. Kastam, kastam, who else? Tvanadritya paranuchintam. By neglecting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who else? by neglecting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rute Pashunam, except those pasus, except those animals, Rute Pashun, Asitim Nama Kuryat, who are engaged in the Asitim Nama Kuryat, which is not permanent, and they are adopt and seeing definitely they are adopting such kind of accumulating the wealth, which are temporary thing. Rute Pashun, Asitim Nama Kuryat. So who else can neglect the Supreme Lord except those who are engaging in the temporary things? Pasyan Janam Paritam Vaitaranyam. And Pasyan, even though they are definitely saying that Pasyan Janam Paritam Vaitaranyam. So many people are falling into such kind of distress and sufferings within this material world. Paritam Vaitaranyam. Vaitaranya is another a river of suffering. So people are falling into such kind of positions. By what? Swakarmajan, by their own work, produced from one's own work. Swakarmajan, Paritapan, Jushanam, and that will give only the pain. Whatever the work they're accumulating, they either trying to accumulate a home or the job or whatever it is, the studies, education, sending the children to school for 8 hours to study in the school for what? To do the job, again to work in the offices, and where it is giving all kinds of things, but sitting bodily comfort, but giving pain to the mind. But actually, everything is doing for the peacefulness of the mind, but people doesn't observe that mind is being tortured within the offices, sitting in a nice rooms and all. That is what people here. Sukadeva Goswami is condemning such kind of people. Kastam kunadutya paranu chintam rute pasun astim nama kurya pasyanjanam paritam vaitaranyam swakarmajan paritapan jushanam. So likewise, material people absorbed in accumulating things and they are suffering by their own work. So they are treating as a animals, pasun, because they engaged in the asatim nama kuryat. So likewise, Sukadeva Goswami is saying, so kastam punadutya paranu chintam rute pasun asatim nama kuryat pasyan janam paritam vaitaranyam swakarmajan paritapan jushanam. So translation for this verse. Who else but the gross materialists will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent names only, seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as the consequence of acquiring the result of their own work. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request Jahnakanya Mataji today you are allocated?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, sorry.
Hare.
Prabhuji, last time I wrote letter. Today can I read purport? Sorry,
Yes.
Mataji.
Oh yes, Mataji. Yeah. Apologies. Yes. Please read, Mataji. Yeah, it is
Sorry,
soft.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In the Vedas, it is said that persons who are attached to a demigod to the exclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like the animals who follow the headsman, even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse. The materialistic, like animals, also do not know how they are being misdirected by neglecting the translational truth of the Supreme Person. No one can remain vacant of thought. It is said that an ideal brain is the devil's workshop because a person who cannot think about disaster. The materialistic are always worshipping some minor demigods, although this is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 7.20. As long as person is illusioned by material gains, the petitions the respective demigods to draw some practical benefit, which is, after all, illusory and non-permanent. The enlightened transcendentalist is not captivated by such illusory things. Therefore, he is always absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme in different stages of realization, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. In the previous verse, it is suggested that one should think of the Supreme Soul, which is one step higher than the impersonal thought of Brahma, as it was suggested in the case of contemplating the Virat Rupa of the personality of Godhead. Intelligent person who can see properly may look into the general condition of the living entities who was wandering in the cycle of the um, uh, million 84 million species of life as well as in different classes of human beings. It is said that there is an everlasting belt of water called the river Vaitranani at the entrance of the plutonic planets of Amaraj, who punish sinner in different manners. After being subjected to such suffering, a sinner is awarded a particular species of life according to his deeds in the past. Such living entities are as punished by Yamaraja are seen in different varieties of continent life. Some of them are in heaven and some of them are in hell. Some of them are brahmanas and some of them are Myceres. But no one is happy in this material world, and all of them are either class A, B, or C prisoner suffering because their own deeds. The Lord is impartial to all circumstances of the suffering of the living entities, but to one who takes shelter at his lotus feet, the Lord gives a proper protection and he takes such a living entities back home, back to himself. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. And thank you for reminding. So here in this purport, Prabhupada is giving further explanations. So people who are engaging themselves, not seeing the things, how they are going on, and still they are working hard. So like a follow headsman, animals who follow the headsman, even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse, they are like that. The materialists, just like animals, they do not know how they are being misdirected by neglecting the transcendental thought of the Supreme Person. So one has to, because Shastras are always existing, they are permanent, and the Supreme Lord is permanent, living entity is permanent, the time is permanent, nature is permanent. The karma is not permanent. One has to know that one karma is not permanent. It can be stopped. Whenever that is stopped, then devotional activities will go on. That is, even though they appear the same, but their reflection is different. The devotional service to please the Lord, which will not entangle one into the material pool. He will situate himself in the Vaikuntha planets. So that is Prabhupada is mentioning, and also here, and one more point is the one can remain vacant of thought. So it is said that idle brain is a devil's workshop. If a person, so a rich man's son who doesn't have any work to do, and his brain is also called devil's workshop. So Prabhupada says that one. So that will bring disasters only, and they will try to create havoc and doing something, some different, try something new, something exciting like that. They encourage the people to do that. People are falling into that trap with different desires. कामैस्तैर्वृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवताः तं तं नियमम् आस्थाय प्रकृत्या नीता स्वया. Like, and also these people, they approach small demigods for to fulfill their desires very quickly. They don't understand the inevitable death coming and waiting for him. So that is illusory energy of the Lord. And then further Prabhupada is mentioning, observe different stages of realization of the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And also quoting from the previous verse, one step which is higher than the impersonal thought of Brahman. So here it is the Lord in the heart. Previously, one has to materialistic person should meditate on the Virat Rupa form of the Lord, and now in this chapter, it is the Lord in heart. One has further one step up. It is the super soul within the heart. And also in the Brahman stage, because there is no personal conception, and also Virat Rupa is also suggested. So it could be in the similar level of so that is the Virat Rupa, but is a materialistic form of the Lord. And then intelligent persons, so they can see general condition of the living entities, 8.4 million species of life. They are not you. Each living entity has got a different senses. One living entity cannot be the same as other one. So this is species, plus within each species there are millions and billions of living entities for each kind. And also here on the planet of Yamaraja, so it is also mentioned from that it is 99,000 of yojanas, and as soon as a person leaves the body, he will be taken within 2 or 3 muhurtas time. One muhurta is coming nearly 40 minutes. That means it is within 2 to 3 hours, a living entity will be taken to the Yamadharmaraja's planet. While he was taken, so he will be going on a very hot sand, and even the dogs and so many wasps are biting him, snakes are biting him, and he's so in a torturing condition. He will be taken while going within the 2 to 3 hours of time. Yamadhuto tada prapto bhimo sarvasa ikshana. That Yamadhutas are there very fearful. By looking at them, sadrishtva trasta hrudayaha. By looking at them, trasta hrudayaha sekrut mutram yumunchate. He will leave the stool and urine immediately as soon as with the fear of the Yamadhutas. So when taking those people, they have to um, behind them what are the mistakes they have done and what are the sinful activities they have done. That will be keep on telling this is the sinful activity you have done. That's why you are suffering. Likewise, they will be punished by the Yamadutas while taking, and later on Yamadharmaraja will be punished. And once there is enough training is there in the punishment, like if a person is acting like a pig, and then first he will be punished, later on he will be, once the punishment is done, he will be put into the similar kind of body again in the material world. Likewise, once again, gradual elevation further. So that is the danger of a person if he is not attracting towards the devotional service of the Lord. So everyone, including from the Brahmana to Krupana, everyone are conditioned by the material nature. So no one is, everyone are suffering somewhere or other. That is from this purport. So one has to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, who gives proper protection. And Lord will take such a living entity back home, back to Godhead. So that is surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So here Sukadeva Goswami is condemning materialistic people. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Kastam Tvanadutya Paranuchintam Rute Pasun Astim Nama Kuriyat Pasyan Janam Paritam Vaitaranyam Swakarmajan Paritapan Jushanam. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is letter to Ekendra, January 24th, 1970, Los Angeles. Can I request Jahnu Kanya Mataji to read the letter?
Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry. Yeah, is it back open now? Okay, my letter to Ekendra, January 24th, 1970. My dear, sorry, Krishna, there's an alarm going on. My dear Ekendra Das Brahmachari, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your good handwriting letter. And I am so pleased to learn that you are joining the Sankirtan party along with Brenda and Girish. I shall always pray to Krishna for your spiritual progress and good health hundreds of times, and you be happy under the protection of New Vrindavan. I am so pleased to learn that you are studying arithmetic so quickly. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So Krishna plus everything in Vrindavan, do not forget Krishna, and you shall always be in Vrindavan. So Krishna plus everything in Vrindavan. Do not forget Krishna, and you shall always be in Vrindavan. Thank you very much. Your ever well-wisher Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji?
Well, Prabhupada always appreciate when people are thriving. I think he's saying here to Kendra and Brahmachari that he is so pleased that they're progressing and they're learning so much in the Sankirtan party. Progressing and propagating the party and showing the world that they are moving on in the Krishna conscious movement. And he's also appreciating the way he's learning slowly to get his basic counting and being easily progressing, and he's actually making a bit of what shall I say, putting a bit of fun in it by saying that 2 plus 2 equal 4. Just being simple and ordinary. So he's actually pointing out simplicity and slow motion and slowly getting progressively better and better every day. And he says he must not forget Krishna. He must always remember Krishna. And so, Krishna in Vrindavan will progress him even further. And he become even more spiritually engaged. So he's telling him the main thing there, not to forget Krishna. And Krishna will help him to move on in life. So yeah, it's a good message for all of us, Prabhu, to actually slowly take step by step. If we're not sure and wherever we're coming from, if we're beginners, we will progress easily by taking those little steps and not thinking, oh, I want to become, straight away I'll become liberated. And if I join Krishna consciousness, that will be my savior and my salvation. You have to do the regular expectation, follow the principles, follow the regulation, follow the rules and regulation, not just regulations, because when we're together with other people, we have rules. The government provide rules for us to live in this world, and we have to follow it. Otherwise, we end up in prison, like you said in the verse you read just now. We're prisoners of this world, and if we actually, just think of the material world as our life and we'll gain happiness from it. It isn't. It is, you have to seek out the Lord who give us everything, and so we will become in a permanent position if we actually follow all the principles of Krishna consciousness. We'll reach a higher plane instead of being in a temporarily prison in this world, prisoner, I should say, and suffer the consequence. We suffer and punish in this world. And you mentioned something about the senses. about when you all living entities have different senses. I'm not sure what that means. Individual in the human body, are our senses different, or do we channel our senses differently? I wasn't sure about that, so we can clarify that afterwards. So that's the gist of this letter about, always remember Krishna, think about Krishna, include him in everything we do, and we can never be a prisoner. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for kindly explaining. Yeah, that 8.4 million different species of life, these are varieties of the living entities. Out of those, humans are 400,000, and out of those, all the civilized people who are following the Varnashrama Dharma. Tato Varnasya Chatvaraha Tesham Brahmana Uttamaha. Out of those, Brahmanas are the best. Likewise, devotees come onto the top. And even if you take each and every devotee, they will have got different senses, how they will please, different moods and tastes. That is relishing. So if you take trillions of living entities or trillions of living entities, everyone are different. That is what in the previous verse Prabhupada is also mentioning. Um, Different classes of human beings about from Brahmanas down to Krupanas. Krupana is the miser who doesn't follow, who is trying to enjoy his fruits of action. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other additions, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna. I Prabhupada said, he pray for your, spiritual growth and health. So, so I heard, Prabhupada praying for others is always Krishna listen, then praying for ourselves. So that Prabhupada has said it's really good and as for spiritual progress and his health hundreds of times. So it's so nice.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. That is the mercy of the spiritual master. Denavachalaha. They are very compassionate towards the living entities. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other points? Okay, so from the announcements point of view, so today evening preaching session at 8 p.m. with Jahnu Kanyade Mataji. So hope we are going to hear some nectar in the evening. Yes, and coming Sunday is Gaura Purnima, and some information is being shared in the WhatsApp groups. So just keep looking and try to attend those festivals wherever it is possible. Hare Krishna. That's all from me from the announcements point of view. And the devotees, if you have got anything to share on any events or anything on Krishna consciousness, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, so if there are no further updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Koti Vaishnavendra ki jai. Hare ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna consciousness everyone. Jai Shri Krishna.